Hey everybody, Ryan Harrison here, welcoming you to the first episode of Harrison's Happy Hour. We have Mardy Fish, Davis Cup captain, joining us. We're excited to be here, presented by World Team Tennis. Mardy, how's it going, man?
Good. I didn't know I was the first one. This is exciting.
Debut. We decided to come out strong, put our best foot forward. So we've got
A
you in
huge,
first
a huge
episode.
ratings bump on episode one, huh?
Oh yeah, that's what we're looking for. We want to come out strong. So, first of all, first and foremost, it is happy hour. So I've got my drink here. What is your drink of choice, sir?
I'll show you. My drink is right here. It is an iced coffee. I don't drink alcohol. So I drink. You know what? That's funny. Dinner drink would be a cranberry and club soda with a lime. That would
Okay,
be either that or pineapple and club soda with a lime.
I like it.
That's my drink.
Those are very good. I think that you've actually given me one of those before. Whenever you're kind of showing me the ropes and getting my taste buds acclimated. So, I want to get started and let's get right into it. Let's talk about your post-retirement days. A lot of athletes, once they retire, they kind of have a difficult transition, but you seem to very seamlessly smooth right into your next transition in life. And I wanted to talk about that. And what's life like now for you?
Well, life's pretty hectic right now at home, anyways. Two young kids that are not in school at the moment with the Corona COVID-19 going on, so that's a little hectic. But apart from that, look, right when I stopped playing, actually before I stopped playing, I knew one of the things I loved doing was I loved helping my friends. I loved helping some of the younger Americans and the Americans in general, just sort of learn the ropes. And I've been through a lot of ups and downs in my career, and good and bad. And I've been through a lot. So I really enjoy helping some of the younger players. So right out of retirement, I took a job with the USTA, spent a few weeks on the road, spent some time with you, and as well as a bunch of guys. Taylor Fritz was one guy that I have spent and still do spend quite a bit of time with, and I really enjoy that. It didn't really come full circle until I was able to until the Davis Cup job opened up, and I was really sort of able to slide into what I call my dream job. It's an incredible opportunity and incredibly humbling to lead these guys in Davis Cup in the premier team competition that we have in tennis. So that has been this is in my second year, and that has been really exciting, and just sort of looking forward to Madrid, hopefully, if it happens in November, and just got a lot of really good young players, and mix of young and old, and so it's fun. I mean, these guys are all, as you know, we're all good buddies, and we've all been friends for quite some time. So it's a fairly easy transition to try and help.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a great group of young American guys. And I remember whenever I was in the younger group of guys, you were always, even as a player, still very active and helping us all develop in every way that we could. So it's only fitting that you were to get a job and that was in a position to really help those young guys that are transitioning smooth right into, working with you and working with somebody who always had such a USA tennis pride, even throughout all of your days. So, I have to ask, if you had to go back and play against one of the up-and-comers who you never played against, who would you have liked to play?
The Americans or just in general, just a next-gen guy?
Next-gen guy. If you give me one next-gen guy you'd like to take a shot at.
I mean, look, I didn't get to play a lot of them. Taylor, just speaking American-wise, I mean, Taylor,
Yeah.
Riley, Tommy, Francis, those guys weren't really out on tour yet. Let's see. I never played a team.
Okay.
I'm really fascinated by his game, the style of play that he has. It's my opinion that he'll win 3 or 4 French Opens, maybe even starting this year, if it's held. I think he's sort of cemented himself as, probably the second best clay quarter, right there, or 2A and B with Novak.
Right.
And obviously we saw him beat Novak in the semis of the French last year. So, he's easily argued that he could be the second best clay quarter.
Right.
And I think he's got a chance against Nadal. I really do. Never played Zverev. We have a great relationship. He spent a lot of time at Saddlebrook. We never trained together, but he spent a lot of time at Saddlebrook when I spent a lot of time there throughout my career. Tsitsipas jumps off the page. He's fun to watch. I ask a lot of questions to Fritz and some of these guys that how are their games? What do they do? What do they do incredibly well? Or exceptionally well? Usually these guys that really excel. And speaking of like someone Zverev or Tsitsipas, winning the World Tour final. You can't just bluff that. You can't just be an average player and do that. So. I just sort of try and pick their brain on why, why they're so good. Cause I'm not on the other side of the net. So I can't really feel, what they're feeling. And it would be impossible. Definitely. And that's sort of the coaching side of it, is that, sort of learning this side is that, we're only guessing. I mean, it's only rhetoric. If you've never played, if I've never played Ryan Harrison, how do I know what it feels like to play Ryan Harrison unless I'm just sort of making an educated guess? That's why it helps. When I initially started coaching or started helping, I had played most of these guys. So I had really, I had some hands-on experience of how to play, how I felt, what was uncomfortable, what wasn't uncomfortable on the court. So that was helpful. And sometimes we still can come up with guys in Davis Cup. We can still come up with come up against players that I've played before. So that helps.
Yeah, definitely having that experience and knowing what you're doing out there, especially if you're playing against guys in Davis Cup that you played against, and you can give a little bit of an experienced insight against some of your younger guys who have all this talent but haven't had the experience in matches that you've had. I want to ask, is there any tournament that you play or that you watch on TV now that you played that gives you the most deja vu, where you miss being out there and you miss being in that moment? What would you say is that tournament for you?
Yeah, two of them. It would be Indian Wells. I had a lot of success in Indian Wells, and just as sort of a drive. I live in LA, so it's just a drive down the road and a couple hours. And we actually go to the desert all the time, just vacation with the kids, and when it's nice. So Indian Wells is a really fun one, one that you can get your family out there, and the laid back part of it is great. Weather's perfect. And then US Open. The US Open's one that just get your juices going. I mean, it's just I watch kind of old videos from time to time, not of myself necessarily, just US Open type matches. Every once in a while there'll be some, on your Twitter feed or whatever, and they'll just sort of fly down and you'll stop on them. And a lot of them I've gone to and watched. The last one I think I watched was 2001 Sampras Agassi. I think they played in the quarterfinals there. Maybe it was 2001 quarterfinal there. So it was that one's it's our national slam. It's our national Grand Slam, and the one that Americans especially want to win the most. Most people say that, or Wimbledon would be one that I'm a homebody. I love being in the States. So those two really jump off the page. And then there's some smaller events. Cincinnati's not a small event. It's a tournament that I've also had a lot of success in. It's not a smaller event. I certainly love that event. Love playing Atlanta. I loved beating you in Atlanta. That was fun.
I do remember that. I do remember that.
So those are, just kind of tournaments. It's funny how you gravitate towards tournaments you've had some success in. I didn't do very well in like Washington DC ever for some reason. So that one doesn't really jump off the page.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a personal thing, but you just remember good places and good memories, and that usually kind of relates to how you played there. I think it's like that for most athletes. Whenever you're playing, you kind of have that feeling of good memories whenever you have good success at a place. With that being said, do you have a moment that really sticks out as one of your top proudest moments of your career that you can remember overcoming a big obstacle, or really getting into a situation and overcoming a deficit, or any sort of moment that you remember sticking out of just having a lot of pride in that moment?
Yeah, all the Davis Cup matches jump off the page right away. You were with us in Bogota. You were also with
Yeah,
us in Switzerland. Um, those two for sure are ones that certainly jump off the page. The Olympics um, for the most part, being up 2-1 and a break in the fourth in the gold medal match, and then losing, that certainly hurts. But all of the good memories leading up to that is great, and an unbelievable experience. Just being a part of that, being able to add to the medal count for the U.S. was really
yeah.
special and fun. So those are the ones, as players. The Davis Cups are really the ones that sort of we always remember those matches. We remember most of our matches, obviously, because it's our job and this is what we do. But the Davis Cup ones are the ones that really, you're playing not for yourself, but for your teammates, for your country, for the flag, and your captain. And that's why that competition is so special for me.
There's no doubt about it. I remember the most pressure I've personally ever felt in a match was in the Davis Cup semifinals a couple years ago in Croatia, when Mike and I stepped in and played doubles together. Bob was out with that hip surgery, and I had to step in and play doubles with Mike. And I remember that being one of the most nerve-wracking moments, and definitely feel a lot of pride whenever you get out there and play for the country and everybody watching at home. So, with
Yeah,
that
by
being
the
said,
way,
let's
a
get in.
pretty good partner to jump out, to have to jump in with. Mike, I got to jump in with him twice too, and
That's true.
he
That's
carried
true.
me. He
I
carried
remember
me a
that. I
couple times
remember.
too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that you were always like right there, available to step in and play doubles at any given time. I mean, everyone always talked about that. When I first came on tour, I remember I had a great relationship with a good mutual friend of ours, Andy Roddick, and he would always say Marty has just got this unbelievable ability to step in and play doubles whenever. And I remember that there was numerous different occasions where your name was either thrown in or talked about being thrown in based on the health of the Bryan brothers and willingness to go. So certainly really cool moments, and some of them that I got to witness. Do you remember any match that you were significantly up in, huge lead, way ahead in the scoreboards, and then just things just came all unraveling down?
It's funny. I don't have like that, 6-0, 5-1, 40 love sort of loss. Certainly in the pros. I'm sure
Mhm.
I did in the juniors.
I think we all did
Not
in
in the pros.
juniors.
Luckily, I've been up. I've been up 2-0 and a break a couple times. The first time I ever played in the U.S. Open, I was up 2-0 and a break in the third against Jan Michael Gamble.
Wow.
That was on the old Louis Armstrong court. An incredible atmosphere, and I was 18 years old, maybe even 17 years old, and he was a top 15 player in the world. Had him going for a little bit. I lost another one where I may have been 2 sets and maybe 2 breaks in the third round of Australia against Wayne Ferreira, who ended up making the semis of that tournament. That was in the third round. I was 21 years old then, so I hadn't really gone through those types of experiences. My first third round in a major, and so it was
Right.
sort of new territory for me. So I didn't really know how to handle it. I think at one point I smashed the umpire's chair with my racket and got a big fine. So that's great, great,
Well, it
great
happens to the
job
best
by
of us.
me.
It happens to the
Yeah,
best of
great
us. We've
job by
all
me.
we've all been there in the moment. But yeah,
Yeah.
those are crazy moments that you look back on. And I remember, a couple of those moments for myself. You feel those stings afterwards, and you just go, "Wow, I can't believe that it all just unraveled the way it did." But certainly with those crushing losses, it makes those prideful moments so much more enjoyable, because it's just the overcoming of valleys and reaching those peaks that makes you feel so excited to be in any moment. I want to get into what World Team Tennis does now, where they're able to incorporate retired players into their active play. And you've committed to play a World Team Tennis full season this year. How much do you like and look forward to playing against the active guys to see where your game still stacks up against everybody who's still active?
Well, I love playing team tennis now specifically because it's for obviously first one of 5 games. I can't play any more than that with no ads, so it's actually perfect for me. I feel like the setup is perfect for an old guy like me to go out there and play someone not really inside the top sort of 30 in the world, and maybe stay away from those guys regardless of how many games I have to play now. But outside that, I feel like for 5 games, I can still serve okay, and I can kind of bluff my way through maybe a return game or two. I'll probably lose my serve once and maybe break once. I feel like a really good, sort of top 35, top 40, top 50 player, that I can bluff my way to like a 5-4 win.
I
That's
like it.
probably as good as I can do. Apart from that, I feel like I can play with anyone inside sort of the top 125. Bring them right now. I haven't played in months. Bring them right now.
I like
I
it.
feel like I can beat them. But the
Well,
other, there's a pretty big difference in those guys that are sort of top 30 in the world. So we want to stay away from them a little bit. But other than that, and then I love the team aspect of it. I love the equality aspect of it. When Billie Jean King, basically invented it a long time ago, she said, "I want to make the men and the women equal, and have the same amount of strategy and how much they count on each team." And so having a men's singles, a women's singles, a men's doubles, a women's doubles, and a mixed doubles all included, is a really awesome format.
yeah,
And I love it. I love it. I love the music in between. I love the colorful courts. I love the team part. Like I said, I love Luke Jensen was our captain or coach last year. He was awesome. We were called Team Awesome, which goes without saying, but we had a blast, man, and we made it all the way to the final. Um, I get injured. Let's see, I'm supposed to play 3 weeks this year, which is pretty close to, I don't know, 13 or 14 matches. I get injured after like 3 of them. So I've already got this year. I've already started training, as
okay.
you can see, very svelte already.
Yeah, not
And
drinking anymore. You got your iced coffee, no
don't
alcohol.
drink, don't
I
drink.
I have the glass of wine here, so clearly I'm in
I
injury
haven't seen you
prevention mode.
take any sips, by the way, so it's not okay. There you go.
Mm,
I'm in training, and I've got my old physio Christian Lacasio that was with me when I was in top 10 in the world. He's coming along. This is as big as anything I've ever done in tennis. 2020 World Team Tennis.
that's what I like to hear. I look forward to seeing you. I'm playing a full season as well for the Aviators. We play against you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got to get my ranking inside that top 125
Yeah.
by then, so
Well,
that
where
I
are you?
can.
Are you top 30? Because you used to be top 30. I didn't want any PC to top 30, but other than
I
that,
am.
I want every bit of Ryan Harrison I can get.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting that win because if I get that win, then I know that I'm top 30 material. And at that point in time, I'll be ready for a big summer after that. I've
Yeah.
got some quick fire questions for you. They're not a whole lot to it other than just first thing that comes to mind. And so we're going to do a little bit
Okay.
of rapid fire questions. Are you ready to go?
As ready as I'll be.
All right, let's do it. If you had to live one place outside of the US, where would it be?
Melbourne, Australia.
All right, great one. If you could change voices with anybody in the world who had a great voice, who would you change with?
Like a singing voice, or
A singer, yes.
just an actual
Oh, it
voice.
could be a narrator too. You could do it with a Morgan Freeman, someone like that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting question. Let's go with the singer. Um, Man, I mean, like Timberlake comes to mind.
that's awesome. Great voice.
John Legend comes to mind. I mean, like that guy is like a. How about Marvin Gaye? I mean, I know he's not
Oh, that's a
alive
good one.
anymore, but man,
Still,
Marvin Gaye,
yeah,
Marvin Gaye. It would look weird coming out of my my voice box, but I'll have to go with
incredible.
Marvin Gaye.
I like it. I like it. All right. Um, how often and when's the most recent time that you Twitter or Google search your own name?
Oh, very rare. Maybe once a year, maybe. I have done it before, maybe less than once a year. I've done it before on Twitter.
Okay.
Um, I've done it before. I don't even know why. Maybe I did it when I got the Davis Cup job, because sometimes it just doesn't,
Yeah.
pop up in your mentions that if they don't at you.
Yeah.
So I think I was checking to see if people thought it was a good hire.
A good hire. Like, did I get good
Exactly.
reports here? Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like it.
And then I sent some nasty letters to people that I did. No, I'm kidding. And then
I like it.
and then on the Google, you know what? I'll Google the other day, maybe a few weeks ago, during this quarantine. We've been quarantined for about 6 weeks now, 5 weeks now.
Mhm.
I Googled to show my son, who's always asking me to watch Daddy play.
Right.
So I Googled my name to have it come up, and I just automatically go to 2008 Federer Indian Wells and just
Great
show him
match.
how much better I am than Federer.
That's a great call. It's a great one to go to. All right. I have a couple pictures for you. You have to tell me the first word, first sentence, first thought that comes to mind when you see
Okay.
this picture.
Um,
Can you
it
see it
looks
all
like,
right?
yeah. Was that skinny fish or fat fish during that
I
time?
think that to me looks like medium fish with some highlights.
Okay. So probably pretty young. Immature would come to mind.
Immature. Okay. What about man bun fish?
Ooh, you know what? That's at the Olympics right there.
Is it?
So that brings up some tough memories. Yeah,
Tough
that's from
memories.
the Olympics.
That
So
could have
that
been the semifinal
ponytail,
match, though.
not everyone can pull off a ponytail. I'm just showing my versatility at that point and just showing
Yeah.
off, really.
I like it. I like, because you definitely pull that off, and that could have been the semifinals there where you were playing to secure your place in a medal round. So
Yeah.
we don't know exactly what match that was from. So it very well could have been a very triumphant
Not
moment.
everybody can pull off and I certainly can't do it anymore because it's going up there.
Yeah.
So.
What is the best, funniest Twitter troll burn you've ever received post match or post conference?
I mean, no idea. I don't even. It's been 4 years since I retired, or
Okay.
4 years since I've played. There were a lot of them. I first joined Twitter in 2011 in Rome. I remember this because Andy Roddick was on it nonstop. He was so much almost to the point to where he would just write like "Good morning," like in the morning. So I was just like, why is he writing "Good morning" to people? Nobody cares if it's morning or not.
I got a great burn one time. It was by a guy named Mardy Fish, and I just gotten Twitter. I was very new to it. And I went to Panera and I posted, just had a great lunch at Panera. And you just responded one thing. You said,
awful.
That's strike one. You have two more. And it was
no one cares what you ate at Panera.
I was like, what is he talking about? And they're like, yeah, I don't think anybody really has anything to care about you and what you had for lunch today. So
there's still, every once in a while when you post something on Twitter, there's still that sort of thought that maybe this is only going to get like 3 likes. Yeah. And if that's the case, then you just want to sort of delete it or just hit the delete button on the iPad, because it's you don't want that, dude. You don't want the 8 likes on your
no, you don't want that. So, you got to just get rid of that. I actually have a couple nowadays I'll throw out and then I'll delete right after I put it out there.
If
and
nobody likes it right away.
God, I hope nobody screenshotted that and calls me out on this. All right, we have a couple fan questions here, just some fan questions that were sent in. Adam wants to know, who were your toughest opponents to face in your career? Give us your top 2.
Djokovic, number 1. I never solved him. Lost to him a couple times, 6 in the third. Lost to him maybe 2 or 3 Masters finals. Big matches. Just never could beat him. It was just nowhere to go. I mean, we can go on and on about him.
Right.
And then, apart from outside, sort of that top 3 or 4, we'll include Andy Murray in that, even though I had a lot of success against Andy Murray, or some success against Andy Murray. It was a guy who was really tough was Joe Willie Tsonga for me. We played very similar styles. He had just a tiny bit more firepower than me. So he was just he's like a little more athletic. He had a little bit bigger forehand. My backhand was better than his, but he was just like a little bit better, I felt like, than me every single time we played, and lost to him in 5 sets multiple times, and in Grand Slam fourth rounds and things like that. I never beat him. Lost to him in a World Tour final. So big matches, important matches, and those two jump off the page.
Yeah,
sure,
and that World Tour finals,
I was never able to beat.
That World Tour finals appearance was so cool. Obviously, happening in your later stages of your career, and when Tsonga was really at the peak of his game. I believe he'd made semifinals of Wimbledon that year and was up on Fed, and then ended up making the World Tour finals where you guys played each other. So he was certainly a tough player. Last question: what is the biggest misconception about you? Marissa wants to know.
Misconception? People tell me all the time that, like, you must play 300 rounds of golf a year. Like, everyone said, when's the last time you played golf? I'm like, I don't know, like 3 months ago. I think people think that I play a lot of golf for whatever reason, at least nowadays. People think I play a ton of golf, and I don't. The actual amount of golf that I play per year is like 20 rounds a year.
Wow.
It's something that comes really natural to me. Tennis and golf have always been really natural and sort of easy for me to play for whatever reason. And but I don't play nearly as much golf as people think. That's the first thing that jumped out of my head.
That's a great one to go to. Well, that's all we've got today. Thanks so much for being on the debut episode of Harrison's Happy Hour presented by World Team Tennis. It was great to talk to you. Thanks for putting our best foot forward and joining with me on this show today. And y'all take care and stay safe over there. I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
My pleasure, buddy. When do we get the Emmy? Like, do they send it in the mail, or do we have to wait? Like,
that'll be talk to the producers. We'll get you on that call.
All right. See you, buddy.
See ya.